Most people will never be rich because they think like this, and I say that without judgment, without anger, and without pride because I was once surrounded by the same thinking and I watched it quietly shape entire lives. I have lived long enough to see excitement fade, trends disappear, fortunes rise and fall, and I have learned that money itself is never the problem. The problem is how people relate to it, how they chase it, how they fear it, and how they misunderstand what it is meant to do for them. You are not poor because you lack intelligence, talent, or effort. Many of the hardest working people I have ever known lived paycheck to paycheck until their final days. They worked, they struggled, they hoped, and they waited, yet freedom never arrived, not because they failed, but because they believed ideas that quietly kept them trapped. They believed that a higher income would save them, that a new job would fix everything, that more money would finally bring peace. They believed that looking successful mattered as much as being secure. They believed that money was something to be spent first and controlled later. And most of all, they believed that time would somehow rescue them without discipline, patience, and restraint. Income feels powerful, and I understand why. When you are young, when bills feel heavy and dreams feel urgent, income looks like the answer to every problem. You think if you could just earn more, everything would fall into place, but income is only the flow of water, and wealth is the reservoir. A fast river means nothing if you have no place to store it. I have seen people earn more in 1 year than others earn in a lifetime and still live in constant stress because every dollar that arrived had already been promised to a lifestyle they could not step away from. True wealth is not what comes in, it is what remains, what stays, what quietly grows while you sleep and while you are busy living your life. The rat race is not defined by how little you earn, but by how much of your life is already spent before the money even touches your hands. The rat race is waking up every morning knowing that missing one paycheck would collapse everything. It is needing approval from bosses, clients, and systems you do not control. It is the feeling that time belongs to someone else. Most people believe that earning more money is the same thing as becoming wealthy, but those two ideas live very far apart. Income is what arrives in your hands today, while wealth is what stays with you tomorrow. Income depends on your effort, your time, and often your health. Wealth depends on your decisions, your discipline, and your patience. You can lose income overnight, but wealth, when built correctly, keeps standing even when life shakes you. This misunderstanding is why so many people feel exhausted despite earning more than ever before. Their money comes in fast, but it leaves just as quickly, already assigned to bills, payments, and expectations. Control never arrives because nothing is left to create it. True wealth is not about how impressive your paycheck looks to others, but about how much control you have over your life. Control means you are not terrified of missing one paycheck. Control means you can walk away from a situation that drains your energy or dignity. Control means your time belongs to you more than it belongs to obligations. A high income without control is like running faster on a treadmill that never stops. You feel movement, but you go nowhere. Wealth, on the other hand, slows the machine. It gives you leverage over your time and choices, which is the real purpose of money. Many people earn more and immediately raise their spending to match it, believing this is progress. What they are really doing is selling their future freedom for present comfort. Each new expense becomes a permanent demand on their income, and slowly their life becomes more rigid, not more powerful. Wealth grows when you allow a gap to exist between what you earn and what you need. That gap is where control lives. It is not glamorous and it does not feel exciting, but it is where stability is born. The danger of focusing only on income is that it teaches urgency instead of intention. You start making decisions based on fear of loss rather than long-term peace. You chase raises, promotions, or opportunities without asking whether they actually improve your life. Wealth teaches patience. It teaches you to build systems that support you even when you are tired, distracted, or aging. It replaces constant effort with quiet resilience. Control also changes how you think when you are not desperate. For money, you make better decisions. You say no more easily. You take fewer risks driven by panic. You invest with calm instead of hope. This mental shift is something income alone cannot buy. It only arrives when you know you are not one mistake away from collapse. In the end, money was never meant to impress others. It was meant to protect your future self. Income feeds today, but wealth protects tomorrow. When you understand this, your priorities change. You stop asking how much you can earn and start asking how much control you can build. And once control enters your life, peace follows quietly behind it. Lifestyle inflation is one of the most misunderstood dangers in personal finance because it never feels like a mistake while it is happening. It feels like growth, it feels like reward, it feels like progress. When your income rises, your surroundings begin to whisper that it is time to upgrade your life, to live a little better, to show the world that your effort has paid off. What no one tells you is that every upgrade quietly asks for your future in return. The danger is not the nicer car, the bigger home, or the more comfortable habits. The danger is that these choices turn temporary income into permanent obligation. At first, the changes seem small and reasonable. A slightly higher rent, a few more subscriptions, more expensive routines. You tell yourself that you can handle it, and in isolation, each decision looks harmless. But lifestyle inflation works by accumulation, not by shock. Over time, your expenses harden into a fixed structure that your income must constantly support. The freedom you thought you were buying slowly disappears, replaced by a feeling that you cannot slow down, cannot step away, cannot take risks that matter. You are earning more yet breathing less. The most painful part is that lifestyle inflation often arrives right when people feel most proud of their progress. They believe they are moving forward, but in reality they are standing still while the ground beneath them rises. The gap between what they earn and what they need shrinks until it disappears. Without that gap, there is no room for savings, no margin for error, no space for opportunity. One unexpected expense, one lost job, one health issue, and everything begins to shake. Freedom does not disappear loudly. It fades quietly through comfort. Comfort becomes expectation, and expectation becomes dependency. Suddenly, choices that once felt optional feel impossible to give up. People defend these expenses fiercely because letting go would mean admitting that progress was an illusion, but real progress gives you options. It makes your life more flexible, not more fragile. Resisting lifestyle inflation is not about denying yourself joy. It is about choosing which joys truly matter and weigh. CH1s only decorate the surface. There is a deep satisfaction in knowing that your life costs less than you are capable of earning. That knowledge gives you power. It allows you to save, to invest, and to prepare for moments that truly matter. It allows you to make decisions based on values rather than pressure. Those who escape the trap understand a simple truth. Wealth grows in the space between desire and action. They do not rush to convert every raise into consumption. They pause, they reflect, They let time prove whether a want is real or just a reaction. Over years, this patience compounds into freedom. In the end, lifestyle inflation steals not just money but peace. It replaces calm with constant maintenance. Those who avoid it do not look flashy, but they move through life with quiet confidence. They know their freedom is intact, and that knowledge is worth far more than anything money can buy. Most people believe wealth is built by making brilliant moves, finding rare opportunities, or taking bold risks that others are too afraid to take. This belief keeps them searching for shortcuts, always waiting for the big win that will finally change everything. In reality, long-term financial success is far more about what you avoid than what you chase. A single bad decision can undo years of steady progress, while a life free of major mistakes quietly compounds in your favor. Financial mistakes are rarely dramatic at first. They often feel justified, reasonable, even necessary. Emotional spending is one of the most common. You spend to feel better, to reward yourself, or to keep up with expectations, telling yourself that you will be more careful later. But later rarely comes because habits once formed demand repetition. Unnecessary debt is another silent destroyer. Borrowing for comfort, convenience, or appearance shifts future income into obligation. It limits choices before you even know what choices you will want to make. Chasing excitement in investing is another trap that catches many intelligent people. Excitement creates the illusion of progress. Constant activity feels productive, even when it is not. Speculation driven by stories, hype, or fear of missing out often leads to decisions made without patience or understanding. These decisions are powered by emotion rather than discipline, and emotion is never a reliable guide in money. The cost is not only financial loss, but shaken confidence, which leads to even worse decisions later. Avoiding mistakes requires humility. It means accepting that slow progress is not failure. It means resisting the urge to impress others with bold moves or fast results. Wealth does not reward urgency. It rewards consistency. It favors those who stay calm when others panic, and who stay disciplined when others get greedy. This calmness is not natural. It is trained through repetition and restraint. There is a quiet strength in choosing boring, reliable paths. They do not offer excitement, but they offer endurance. Over time, they protect you from catastrophic loss. Most people underestimate how powerful survival is in building wealth. If you avoid being wiped out, time does the rest of the work for you. Compounding cannot help you if you remove yourself from the game through reckless decisions. Every avoided mistake is a form of progress, even if it does not feel like one in the moment. Saying no to unnecessary debt, walking away from risky temptations, and choosing patience over excitement may feel unsatisfying today, but these choices build stability. Stability creates clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. In the long run, wealth belongs not to the boldest or the loudest, but to the most disciplined, those who understand that protecting what they have is just as important as growing it. Move through life with fewer regrets and greater peace. Avoiding financial mistakes may not feel heroic, but it is the quiet foundation on which lasting freedom is built. Real wealth is not created in dramatic moments or life-changing decisions made once in a lifetime. It is built quietly, almost invisibly, through small choices repeated day after day. Most people underestimate this truth because small decisions do not feel important. Skipping a purchase, saving a modest amount, choosing patience over impulse, or staying consistent when progress feels slow all seem insignificant in isolation. But time does not treat small actions as small. Time multiplies whatever you repeat. Patience is uncomfortable because it offers no immediate reward. When you delay gratification, nothing happens right away. There is no applause, no visible result, no confirmation that you made the right choice. This silence makes people doubt the process. They assume that if they cannot see progress, none is being made. But wealth grows the way trees grow, slowly beneath the surface before anything appears above ground. Those who quit early never see what consistency was about to create. Discipline is often misunderstood as harsh or restrictive, but in reality it is an act of care toward your future self. Every time you say no to something unnecessary, you are saying yes to flexibility later. You are reducing the number of obligations your future must carry. This is how freedom is purchased, not with bold moves, but with quiet restraint. The future does not reward intensity for a short time. It rewards steadiness over a long time. Compounding works only when you allow it to. It requires time, consistency, and the absence of self-destruction. You do not need perfect decisions. You need repeatable ones, saving regularly, investing patiently, and avoiding emotional reactions allow momentum to build. Once momentum exists, progress begins to feel easier. Not because effort disappears, but because results start working alongside you. Many people sabotage this process because they grow impatient with slow growth. They abandon good habits for exciting alternatives, believing that speed is more valuable than direction. But speed without control leads nowhere. Consistency in the right direction always wins, even if it feels boring. Boring is sustainable. Boring survives distractions, setbacks, and changing moods. Saying no in the present is difficult because the cost is immediate. You feel the sacrifice now, while the reward belongs to a future version of you that feels distant and abstract. But over time, that future arrives, and when it does, you realize those small refusals were actually acts of generosity. They bought you options. They bought you peace. They bought you the ability to make decisions without fear. Wealth built this way does not feel fragile. It does not depend on constant effort or perfect conditions. It grows steadily, quietly, and predictably. It allows you to live with less anxiety and more intention. When you look back, it is never one big decision that stands out, but a pattern of small, thoughtful choices repeated long enough for time to amplify them. In the end, the people who build lasting wealth are not the most talented or the luckiest. They are the most consistent. They understood that patience is not waiting for life to change, but choosing the same disciplined actions long enough for life to respond.